Hello and a warm welcome to everyone. We are thrilled to have you join us today as we dive into innovative strategies and cutting-edge solutions to enhance corn yield. This session will provide valuable insights into the use of biostimulants and their significant impact on agricultural productivity. Our experts, Ricard Melia and Sergio Ramis, will share their knowledge and answer your questions through the presentation. I'm Alejandra Flores, your host for this webinar, and thank you for being here. And let's get started.
Okay. Thank you very much, Alejandra. This is the second webinar we are doing this year. We are doing in English. This time we have seen people from more countries than the previous one. And given the success we have had in these first two webinars we are doing this year, there will be surely more. Okay. In the previous one, which you can find in YouTube, okay, we talked about the potential of biostimulants in general, and also with the use of the example of cocoa tree. I don't want to expand very much on this one, that it will be about corn, about maize, because for me, for this webinar, the protagonist is my colleague Ricard. Ricard is the person with the most experience in the market that I know. He's an excellent agricultural an engineer, agronomist. He's very professional, and he's also the person that I use, I personally use, to ask him when I have any kind of doubt or problem with a crop, a specific crop, or biostimulant. So I hope that in the future he will come also with me to make more trainings directly in different countries, to be able to have his knowledge and to send it to the farmers. And I hope that you can ask him this time many questions to him, so that we can answer as much questions as we can at the end of the webinar. And those that we cannot answer because we have no time, for sure we are going to answer everything online. Okay, so I'm giving the floor to Ricard, who has a maximum of 45 minutes. I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. Okay, thank you, everybody.
So let's start, sorry, with the presentation. The first slide I want to show you is because my profession is my passion, agriculture is my passion. So I like reading very much about agriculture. And I found an article in this paper called Nature. Of course, you know, that paper is the most famous scientific paper in the world, but it is not very usual to find articles related with agriculture in this paper. So I said, okay, I must read it. And it was speaking about productivity enhancement in corn in comparison to the productivity enhancement by breeders in soybean. This trial, let's say trial, started in 1919, more than 100 years ago. So they have been collected data since 1919. It means that it is, we can trust this study. Finally, the conclusion is that the strategy that breeders have been following to increase yields in corn is just increasing the yield by increasing the planting density. It means planting more seeds per hectare or per acre per area. In the contrary, in soybean, was the contrary. The strategy was increasing the yield in a single plant. What does it mean? It means that we still have a place to increase the productivity in corn by increasing the single plant production or single plant yield, because this field hasn't been exploited yet. On the other hand, this increasing the productivity by increasing the plant density is giving some problems. The problems is the so-called plant density stress. The more plants you put, the more stressed the plants are, as we are going to see later. Corn has a problem due to this breeding strategy, which is that plants has become very few flexible. Plants are not flexible anymore. So those new varieties are unable to compensate for production failures in a plant, like changes of temperature or drought stress and other kind of stress. So the main stress we are going to find in corn production is the so-called plant density stress. Why? Because plants are interfering each other's. They are making the neighbor plant to receive less light. They need to share the soil water. They need to share also the nutrients we have applied in the soil and naturally presents in the soil. So we have a solution by using biostimulants. The less light received can be improved by increasing the photosynthesis rate. Photosynthesis rate means that at the same level of chlorophyll, the plant is going to fix more carbon. That chlorophyll is going to work better. That's the concept. The soil water is limited, so we can improve the water use efficiency by using biostimulants and the nutrient share. Certain biostimulants can increase the FUE, that means fertilizer use efficiency. So increase the nitrogen use efficiency, phosphorus and potassium use efficiency. And of course, we can use biostimulants containing micronutrients. According to some very important universities and extension services that are given by these universities in the United States, the key factors to increase yield in corn is the first one, not because it is more important than the other one, but is interesting to optimize both the kernel number and the weight of a single kernel, of a single grain. Then it is very important also minimizing stress to increase yield. This is the main concern of these both universities, Nebraska and Ohio Extension Services. Minimizing stress is a key factor to increase yield in corn. So these universities are saying that the yield components, as you know, in corn is the plant population, the number of ears or cobs per plant, the number of kernel rows per air, the number of kernel rows, both potential and then also harvestable, once the flower has been fecundated, and then the kernel weight. This is, I think that you all know this, but it is good to remember these points because they are very important. Let's see how can improve the yield step by step by taking care of every of these yield components. So the first thing we must do is identify problems. We could use plant biostimulants in each of the different phases of the crop cycle, but it should be a little bit expensive. So it is better to focus in the problems we have in our field. So then the first thing we have to do is checking the problems we have in our own field. So checking the plants, the number of plants without airs, checking if there is few rows per kernel rows per cob, if we have few grains per row, etc. You can read it in your screen. I don't want to speak too much. So we need to take some minutes, or maybe even 1 hour, to check in every phase of the crop, which are our main problems, in order to act the next season. It's important, very important, to evaluate, but also to anticipate the problems we could have in the current season. For instance, unfavorable conditions, it is very simple. Check the forecast, the weather forecast, to know if it is going to rain, to know if we are going to have unusual high temperatures or unusual low temperatures, etc. This is important in order to prevent those problems. Then I have put here, I think that you will have access to this presentation. I have put here this in order you to have a guide to see, to understand if you are having problems or not. The height of the plant, it is very changeable. It depends on the variety, so you should ask to your provider of seeds, which is the normal height of the plant. The leaves between 15, 21 kernels per air. This is also an orientation between 400 and 600. If we are below 400 kernels per air, we have a problem. So we should act in the moments suitable for solving this problem. We will see them later. Then number of kernels row per air between 12 to 16. If we are below 12, we have a problem. If we are below 16, it means that we still have a margin to improve our yield. The same of the previous kernel per air is the same. Then the kernel weight between 280 and 320 milligram per grain. So it's the same. Below 280, we have a problem. If we are below 320, we have a margin to improve. The roots between 1.5 meters and 2.5 meters. This is also very important to take care of the roots. Not always is possible, but it is, I mean, it's the grower's decision or the technician's decision to act in this parameter. Then, just briefly, I'm going to show you the moments in which we should act if we want to improve the different yield components: plant population, the number of hairs per plant between V2 and V6, more or less. Later on, we will see an example. You will understand it better. The number of kernels row per air, the number of kernels row per air is defined between V2 and V7, more or less. So if we see that we have a few kernel row per air, we should act between V2 and V7. This is because the number of kernel rows per air is defined during that period of time. During that period of time, the plant is deciding, let's say deciding, the number of kernel rows per air. Then the potential number of kernel rows between V7 and V15, and the harvestable, the real kernel row number between V17 and R3. Then the kernel weight at the end of the crop cycle. Let's see how can prevent stress and how can we improve our yields. So from planting to V2, V3 approx, we can influence in the plant population, number of hairs per plant, kernel rows per air. So the first goal we must have is the uniform emergence of plant. Why? You can see in that picture that sometimes plants are emerging earlier than others. It means that the plant that has been developed earlier is going to fight for nutrients, and is going to steal the nutrients to the neighbor plants, is going to steal the light because it is going to cover the light that the neighbor plants can receive, and the same for water. It's going to steal the water of the neighbor plants. So it means that the neighbor plants are going to be weaker in case the neighbor plants emerged later than the first one. Then we want to, during this period, we can increase the early season vigor, which is important. It is not only important the last period of the season, and the proper stand establishment. It means during this moment, we need to provide a favorable environment for our young seedlings. The barren plants are usually defined during these first stages of the plant. The origin of the problem is, of course, if we have planted too much seeds per hectare, so we are going to find more barren plants, more plants without as the moisture stress or drought stress, the nutrient deficiency, the microclimate stress when the plant was growing, was younger. The planter performance, this is very important because this is we cannot fix the planter performance by using biostimulants, but we can solve the problems that a wrong planter performance is producing. It means if the planter is planting the seeds to close one each other and other are too separated. So this is the problem of planter performance. Or if the seed is planted too deep and other seeds are planted too shallow. So these things can be the problems that these things are giving can be solved by using biostimulants, but it's much better to fix the planter machine, and we can spend the money by using the biostimulants in other moment. So again, take a few minutes to see how widespread is the problem in order to act and to the following season. We need to uncover the clues in order to understand why, if it is a problem of moisture, if it is a problem of microclimate, or nutrient deficiencies, our planter machine is wrong, or etc. So in order to try to find a solution. Then by using biostimulants, of course, we can find anti-stress biostimulants, increasing the fertilizer use efficiency, increasing the photosynthesis rate, and increasing the water use efficiency in order to solve the problem of moisture stress. Can we increase the number of hairs per plant? We can. It is well known that these new varieties are giving only one hair per plant, and having multiple hairs per plant is a good way of increasing the yield. Of course, it is possible reducing the population. It means the plant population. It means reducing the number of plants per hectare, but this is not the case, because in this case we are also going to reduce the yield. But we can reduce the stress that is caused by this overpopulation in our field by increasing the water and the nutrients efficiency and enhancing photosynthesis. You see that we are always pointing to the same parameters: increasing the nutrient efficiency, increasing the water use efficiency, and increasing or enhancing the photosynthesis. So this is a good way to increase the yield. Then a third way to increase the yield is increasing the number of rows per air. So we have seen that the number of rows per air starts being defined at V2 more or less and finished at V7. The most important moment for this, in which the plant is more susceptible, sorry, for a reduced number of rows per air is between B5, B7. But this is very strange that we are going to have a problem during this period. Problems that can cause a reduced number of rows per air is hail damage, but having more than 50% defoliation. Why? Because it is going to reduce photosynthesis. Sometimes sudden changes in temperature, extreme hot to extreme cold, like that. It is not a very common problem. If we have problems, we can fight against these problems by using biostimulants in this period, even though it is not very common. We can act if we want to optimize the number of rows per air. We can act before B5, between V2, V3 to B5 by giving a biostimulant. We will see an example later on. Then you see here, you can see if we want to act in order to increase the kernel rows per air, we should act between V2 and V7. Then the other yield factor we can improve is the number of kernels per row. The number of kernels per row is defined by the length of the air of the cob. The length of the cob is defined between V7 and V15. So if we want to increase the potential number of kernels per row, we should act between V7 and V15, because it is going to define the potential number of kernels of grain per cob. Then during the pollination is going to be fixed the number of the real number of kernels or grains per row and of course per cob. So if we want to increase the real, first of all, we need to increase the potential number of corn kernels. Second, we must make those potential kernels to become real kernels. So it means having a good pollination and reduce the abortion, reduce the number of aborted kernels. So we can see here the moments in which we should act if we want to increase these parameters or decrease the number of aborted kernels. Then here you can see the problem of low pollination on the tip of this air, of this cob. You can see a lot of kernels that didn't receive the pollen, or they received the pollen, a non-fertile pollen or low quality pollen. So the grain is not forming and it is not going to be formed anymore. Then you can see the aborted kernels, that are those that are shriveled. So how to solve these problems? The first thing we need to find is a synchronization between the pollen emergence, the male part of the male flowers emergence, and the female part or silk emergence. Synchronization is very important because they must be together at the same moment in order the pollen to arrive to the silk for the fertilization. The problem of bad synchronization is said to be due to the stress. All experts are saying that it's a question of stress. But if we want to synchronize both parts of the plant, in this moment, it is too late. So we need to prevent this problem by acting during the previous stages of the plant. Then, also, apart from synchronization, we need to take care of the pollen quality. Pollen viability, pollen is viable for 18, 24 hours, more or less, and it must arrive during these 18, 24 hours to the silk in order to fecundate the plant. Making the pollen more viable, the duration of the viability longer is a good thing in order to improve pollination. Why? Because usually silks are emerging step by step, little by little. The first silks that are emerging are the silks that coming from the bottom of the cob. So that's the reason many times the tip of the cob is not pollinized, because when the silks of the tip of the cob are emerging, at that moment there is no more viable pollen, because the pollen viability time is very short. Then the challenges. So we have, it means we need to improve the amount of pollen. We need to improve the viability. We need to have very strong pollen grains, summarizing. What is the problem? What is the problem? The problem usually is a problem of stress. Of course, it can be a problem of nutrients, especially nitrogen, of course, but especially micronutrients like boron, zinc, sometimes molybdenum. But usually the problem of the low pollen viability is the extreme heat and the extreme drought. And we need to fight against these kind of stresses. The pollen of maize is considered very intolerant to desiccation. That's why it loses viability very quickly when high temperatures come, or when the weather is very dry. We can see here the effects of high temperature. This is a trial made in Hebei, in China. In 2018, they grow the the corn under different temperatures. So they saw that more than 32 degrees inhibits the pollen germination once the pollen has arrived to the female part of the flower of the plant. Then more than 35 degrees dries out the silks that are already outside the cob, and it means that those silks are not going to be pollinated, and more than 38 degrees is going to destroy completely the pollen. And you can see the effects in that picture. You can see the effects of growing, of having temperatures higher than 35 degrees during pollination, during pollen shed. 35 degrees is not very high, at least here in our area, in the Mediterranean, in the South Mediterranean area. Then you can see here the threshold for temperatures in different growth stages in corn. You can see in anthesis, during the moment of the pollen emergence from the anthers is 37 degrees. So more than 37 degrees is going to make the pollination failing completely. So it's important to take care of the plants when the temperatures are too high. More examples. This is regarding drought stress, lack of soil humidity. You can see that the most critical stage for drought stress is again pollination. From VT to R3, we must take care of the drought stress, of course, if we can irrigate, so this is the best solution, but this is not always possible. So if we have low moisture in the soil during this moment, the best thing is applying a biostimulant in order to solve the problem. You can see the reduction. This graphic is showing the yield reduction when there is drought stress. So the peak of yield reduction is between R1, R2. This is the most critical moment for drought stress. You can see here the decrease of yield loss per day during the moment going from pollination to R2 is between 3 and 9% decrease per day in yield. So it is very important to take care of this problem during this moment. Other critical stages is for drought stress is during R3. You can see between 3%, 6%. So this is also a considerable yield reduction. So this is the moment of considering applying biostimulants if we have drought stress during milk stage or R3. Then the real kernels per row. We have seen the potential, the real kernels per row. We have seen the pollination. So how can we increase the number of real kernels per row? So by using biostimulants containing osmolytes like proline, like betaine, and of course, giving the right amount of micronutrients like zinc, boron, and molybdenum in order to fight against pollen desiccation and high temperatures stress. Then abortion. Abortion is also a big issue. Sometimes, usually, it's not so problematic as the lack of pollination, but it is also a factor of reduction of yield. How can reduce the abortion? Abortion is mainly due to lack of nutrients. In this case, it's not NPK, is lack of sugars or the sugars that the photosynthesis has produced in the previous stages and during this stage coming from R1 to R3. Why is this problem of shortage of sugars due to, again, due to drought stress, to heat stress, to lack of nutrients, but in this case, it should be a very severe nutrient deficiency. If you find that the leaves are not green, the surface area is reduced due to fungi, due to worms that are eating, due to hail, whatever. Sometimes it's just due to heavily overcast because we have just cloudy conditions, so there is not enough light to produce to the plant to produce enough sugars. So what should we do? Increasing the photosynthetic rates. We can do it by using biostimulants. Then finally, why the kernel weight is not so high as we would like. So here again, photosynthetic stress between R4 and R5, drought and heat stress. We can have, of course, pests like the European corn borer. Again, loss of photosynthetic leaf area, maybe killing fall frost can come, but I hope this is not very common in your area. And then after R6, we are not going to find severe stress, having negative physiological effects. So in order to increase the kernel weight, we should act between R3 and R5. So at the end of the crop cycle. Then again, for increasing the grain filling, it means increasing the grain weight, the growth stage, we should act is grain filling, as I have said before, and we have a threshold of maximum temperature, which is 36 degrees. So if during grain filling we have more than 36 degrees, we should consider using biostimulants if we don't want to have a reduction of grain weight. Then let's go to see some results we have obtained in different parts of the world. Sorry, I need to drink water. And we will speak about the moments of biostimulants application, and I will try to do it open. We don't have many time, so I will speak myself. Let's go. Let's go. The first trial I want to show you was in the Pampean core region in Argentina. This area is very well known to have very favorable climate conditions for growing corn. The temperatures are really nice there for corn. The amount of rainfall is very good, is very nice. The soil conditions are really good, but we are applying biostimulants. So why? You can see if we apply biostimulants, we can increase the yields, even if the conditions are optimal. In this case, we increased just 144 kilos per hectare. It's not very much, but this increase paid for the treatment. They applied twice. The first application was at V4, more or less, applying Tecamin Max, containing free amino acids and other substances like osmolytes, plus technical amino zinc. Zinc is very important in corn, as you know, especially in this moment of the season. And then they applied another 1.5 liters per hectare of Tecamin Max at V10. The results are, as you can see there, we increased the NDVI, using the green seeker. So this is very easy to see. We can provide you, if you like, for free, a program in order to check the NDVI in your fields, just in case you want to test our products. Then plants without air, we had an increase of plants without air, the percentage from an 18% in the control to a 20%. Probably there is no statistical difference, so let's say that more or less is the same. Of course, it was not caused by the application of the biostimulants. Then another parameter we have measured is the number of kernels per air. We have seen a considerable increase in that number. So at the end, it was a compensation, and we increased the yield from 1.17 tons to 9.32 tons. So maybe you can see why an 18% or 20% of barren plants. So we have seen the problems, the kind of stress that can origin this problem of barren plants, and how we can solve it. So the main problem is origined between V2, V3. So we should have act in this moment in order to prevent this problem. We can see that we have acted a little bit later before. So if we know that we usually have this problem of barren plant, we need to act a little bit earlier. They applied Ticamin Max plus zinc at before because they mix it with the herbicide. So in this case, if we consider that we should act on the barren plants, we should act a little bit earlier between V2 and V3, and we should consider to apply the herbicide a little bit earlier in case we don't want to do an extra application of biostimulants. Then let's see the second application, the effects of the second application of Ticamin Max, in this case V10. We can see that that application increased the number of kernels per air. I want to show you again this graphic, V10 increasing the potential number of kernels per row, and subsequently the number of harvestable grain. Another trial, in this case very near the first trial. In this case, we increased 413 kilos per hectare. This is not bad at all. Then another effect of biostimulants is that we can replace urea. In this trial, we can see as we can reduce the amount of urea applied to the corn just by applying Ticamin Max, this biostimulant that is increasing the nitrogen use efficiency. This is the economical benefits. You can see that reducing the urea and applying biostimulants is going to give us a good benefit. So it is worthy to replace urea with Ticamin Max, not 100%, only 50% or a little bit more. Okay. The more trials, this case in Bulgaria. In this case, this grower used Fertigrain Start. Fertigrain Start is a product, a biostimulant for seed coating. I wanted to show you this because it is important for having an even plant emergence. So, and for having a good vigor during the first stages of the plant. You have seen that it is very important. And then they follow a completely different strategy. They applied later on 20 liters per hectare of Agrifull, that is a soil application biostimulants, between V2, V3, and they had a very good increase in yield. So you can see when they applied Agrifull between V2, V3, they acted on the plant population, making all the plants to grow evenly, the same size, the same root size, so not interfering one each other. Then they were acting on the number of hairs per plant, decreasing the barren plants, and increasing the number of kernel rows per hair. More trials in Bulgaria, a different strategy, applying technical amino zinc between V1, V2. Zinc is very important, as you know. And a second application between V7, V6, V7 of fertirene foliar. Fertirene foliar is a biostimulant, having similar characteristics to Tecamin Max, but containing micronutrients inside, so you don't need to mix the micronutrients with Tecamin Max. So it is giving an advantage. You can see plus 7% and other improvement in other parameters.
Thank you very much, Ricard.
Yes.
How you think? First of all, we are thrilled to have you join us today. So thank you very much to all the people that it's with us. What about if now we open the floor for questions? So we have from here Mentha. I hope, sorry if I don't pronounce it well. I hope yes. So Ricard, what are the examples of commonly used biostimulants?
So here we have prepared a graphic showing you the right application moments of different biostimulants we are producing and the way of application. I have said that the first thing you have to do is identifying which are the main problems in your farm, and then acting consequently. Of course, if the season is already ongoing, you cannot check the problems. You can prevent by checking the weather forecast and applying the biostimulants in the moments you consider. Usually we used to mix biostimulants with the herbicide, so we don't need to do two sprays, so we are saving money, of course. Another moment is if we are applying side dressing fertilizer. You can see at the center, you can apply agri-food or even Tecamin Max with that side dressing when you apply nitrogen, for instance, between V10 and V15. And from V14, V15, the height of the plant is too high to doing foliar sprays. Yes, to apply. So we need to use an airplane, but it is very common, for instance, in the States and in South America to do foliar sprays by airplane in order to fight against pests. So you can mix the biostimulants perfectly with those pesticide treatments.
Okay, for both of you, Sergio and Ricard, what is the mode of actions of biostimulants? And can biostimulants completely replace conventional fertilizers such as urea, phosphate, or potash? Who is going to answer first?
Okay, I'm going to answer. So we have seen that it is possible to replace common fertilizers, especially nitrogen, by using biostimulant, but it is not possible to replace 100%. In the case we have seen, reducing 50% of urea was possible. Right now, I must say that we are making trials in order to understand the potential reduction of phosphorus and of potassium by using our biostimulant.
So that's a
We don't
really
know
good
yet
news, huh?
if it will be a 15%, a 50%, 20%. We don't know yet. But here in our university in Valencia, some professors are performing those trials.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you,
No,
Ricard. Do
just
you want to
and
add something, Sergio?
yes, yes. Just to say that generally, uh, we recommend about 20 to 25%. It depends on many things in the field, but just to simplify, we recommend 20 to 25, even though we have results in where we reduce it 40% and we have good results. Okay, but just to be sure, because there are many kinds of lands and crops, so we recommend 20 to 25% of reducing of
Okay,
NPKs.
perfect. So another question, if recorded video will be available on YouTube? Yes. What is the period between the V, for example, V3 and V4 from Alfred Aqua?
So V3, maybe you are not used to this kind of names. So V1, V2, V3 is related to the number of leaves of the plant. It is not exactly like that, but V1 is having one leaf, V2 is having two leaves, V3 is having three leaves. You can see it is V3 is having three developed leaves. So in this picture, you can see that you can count four leaves, but actually are three developed leaves. Okay, VT is the tasseling, the moment in which the male flowers are emerging and then shedding the pollen. Then R1 is just after pollination. Then it comes consequently the different reproductive stages, R1, R2, R3, R4.
Okay, so I have another three questions since we still have time. Can we prime the seed with these biostimulants?
Can you repeat? Sorry.
No. I think
You hear me
he
well?
refers about if we can use biostimulants with seeds. This is what I understand. Here in the photo, for example, in the what Ricard is showing, we have one biostimulant that is fertigrain start. It's especially manufactured for seeds. So it's a seed coater, okay? Agri-food, for example, is not a seed coater, but in many countries in Africa, they use it as a seed coater because for sure, biostimulants can act very well for seeds. Okay, you can give the nutrients to the seed with the biostimulant.
Okay. What is the expected tone per hectare? Ricard, Sergio, who wants to answer this one?
Well,
I think
we have seen
yeah, but
we have seen 6,000 6,000. Well, I mean, by using biostimulants, we used to speak of increased percentage. We can sometimes we increase just 3-4%. Is very strange, but in the last example, we increased. You can see in your screen right now 23%. So it is very changeable. Of course, here you can see that the yield, the control yield, was very low, and sometimes in this case, you can see this is The control was 4.7 tons per hectare. We increased our 7%, so it's very changeable.
It depends on many factors because, for example, in some markets, for example, in France or in Russia, all the farmers are already in the optimal use. So it's very difficult, even with the biostimulants, to give an extra extra production. So the difference is when they are applying still biostimulants, even if they are still in the potential, because if there is a problem, there is an stress, the biostimulant is going to act. If there is not a stress, they are not going to be any difference using biostimulants or not. But in cases like in my experience in Africa is that plants are always in stress. So we have always an increase of yield, always using biostimulants.
So this is the example we have seen before. This trial in Pergamino in Buenos Aires in Argentina, you see, I have said that the conditions were optimal, or were very, very good, very good. So we went from around 9.15 tons. We got 9.3 tons, more or less. So the increase wasn't very, very high because the conditions were perfect, almost perfect. But in the other field, in the other area, you can see as the conditions weren't so good. Why? Why can we know it? Because the yield was 7.5 tons. But when we applied the biostimulant, we got almost 8,000 kilos per hectare. So, as Sergio was saying, the performance of the biostimulant depends in the conditions. Of course, if the conditions are perfect, we cannot improve anything. But usually there is always a margin for improvement. Why? We have seen that we usually plant more, a lot of plants per hectare in order to increase the total yield per area, but it is making the plant to suffer from stress because they are crowded.
Okay, let's continue with our questions. I just moved from normal farming to agribusiness. Kindly advise on biostimulants that can favor Kenya maize farming.
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Maybe
I will repeat, but I think the answer is Tegamin Max, but let's continue. I just moved from normal farming to agribusiness, okay?
Okay.
Kindly advise on biostimulants that can favor Kenya maize farming. So this one is a special question from Kenya.
From Kenya. Okay. Yeah, but I think that he or she is speaking about corn. I think. Yes. So you have seen. We can use. We have 3 biostimulants that can be applied or are more adequate for corn. They are Ferturane foliar or Tecamin Max, and then Agrifull. Which product to use, Ferturane foliar or Tecamin Max? So it depends on if you are going to apply extra micronutrients or not. If you are applying all the micronutrients that corn needs. So we can go directly with Tegamin Max because the biostimulant power is a bit higher. If not, if we don't have the possibility of applying micronutrients, I mean, not only zinc, but manganese, boron, iron, etc., my recommendation is applying fertilizer foliar because we are going to obtain better results. Sometimes they can be mixed. Why? Because in special moments in which temperatures are unsuitable, for instance, you can see in the picture right now as between VT, which is tasseling, and R1, if we have more than 32 degrees, that is very common, we are going to have a problem. So imagine that you have 35 degrees during VT or even 38 degrees. So we need to use a very, very real powerful biostimulant against heat stress. So in this case, Tecamin Max is the suitable one. Is the suitable
Okay,
one.
Ricard,
Yes.
two more questions. One is that what biostimulants or these biostimulants can be used with insecticides, fungicides as a tan mix?
Yes.
Okay, just one second because
Yes.
There is another question very similar from Janus, okay, in Ghana, that is about if we can use also with glyphosate. So maybe you
Yes.
can answer for the insecticide and the other
Yes,
one, but also with the
is the same. They can be mixed with herbicides and other pesticides like fungicides or insecticides, even miticides. It's not very common using miticides in corn, but you can do it. And I must say, usually we take advantage of the application of pesticides in order to then mix the biostimulants so we can save an application, we can save money. I know that a flight is not cheap, so we need to avoid, to prevent extra number of applications.
Okay. Even with
Perfect.
glyphosates.
Even with glyphosate is commonly used with Tecamin Max or fertilizer foliar.
Yes, because sometimes these products can damage the plant.
Yes,
So
yes, but
these insecticides and glyphosates,
yeah,
they can damage the plant. So the Tecamin Max, for example, can avoid this stress.
exactly. Our experience by mixing Tecamin Max with herbicides or fertilizer foliar or agri-food, even agri-food, is that we are reducing the phytotoxicity of the herbicides on the crop, but not on the weeds. It will be a little bit weird applying or mixing a biostimulant to biostimulate the weeds. So no problem, no problem. You can mix, and you will see that we are preventing the phytotoxicity on the target crop, on our crop.
Okay, guys, we are ready 15 minutes more time we said. What about Ricard, if you can show us the QR that we have
Sure.
ready for our assistants to answer 5 easy questions, and meanwhile you do it, I want to thank you all for joining us today. We hope this session was insightful and valuable for you. Our goal, Ricard, Sergio, and me, our goal is to provide you with the latest strategies and solutions to maximize, in this case, corn. I want to give a big thank to our experts, Ricard and Sergio, for sharing their knowledge and expertise. And if you have any further questions or need additional information about our biostimulants or our products, please stay tuned. You have our LinkedIn and Facebook that we check all the messages. This video will be available on YouTube. So if you have any comment, question, we are going to check also that to reach us out and be able to be in contact with all you. So once again, thank you for your participation. Have a great day and happy farming. Ricard, Sergio, thank you very much. And we see everyone for the next webinar.
Thanks to come in. And as Alejandra has said, we are open to receive more questions. And if you can scan and answer the survey, I will be very happy.
Thank you very much. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ya.
Sí.
No sé si habrán dicho. No sé.
Ya está, ya está.
¿Seguro?
Yo creo que sí.
¿Conectado?
Ya, pero
Está aquí.
sí.